Hello and welcome to this live feed. A little segment I like to call High Impact Thursday. Normally I do it on Tuesday, but this week being a 4-day week, things are a little topsy-turvy. You roll the fancy cool graphics I made. Well, there's one for the blooper reel. It's High Impact Thursday, not Tuesday. Your eyes do not deceive you. First off, I want to say I am super excited. Oops. Let me maximize myself again. And in case you don't know who I am, my name is Frank Lavinia, and you can catch me at the following URLs. I am a principal solutions architect at Electrify AI, and basically, I help customers do more with their data by connecting them and their business needs to our pre-trained models, or mostly trained models, right? If you can't get enough of me and you don't think I stream enough, you can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm not very active on Twitter lately. On Instagram, it's mostly dogs, archery, and my progress going through Pluralsight courses. And but today on the high impact shows, I like to do this little thing where I kind of show what's going on in Frank's world. And let me hide all these graphics and put myself, wait, there we go. Put myself in the corner like that. How's that? That's awesome. All right, so if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat or leave a comment if you're not watching live. I'm streaming on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and a few other places, Periscope and Twitch. You know, it's just so much going on, so much good stuff going on. All right, so in case you missed it, Frank's World was kind of down for last week of May because of some legitimate issues with the hosting provider I had. Fortunately, I keep a backup of all my data. Oh no, it sounds like I'm using a laptop mic. You know what? Hang on. I think I know what this is. Audio input. Ah, there it is.
All right, audio output is going to be the headphones. Let's see if this works now, because it didn't work before. All right. Oh yeah, that's much better. Thank you, John. All right. So if you don't know, oh, good. I'm glad. Thank you, John, for the real-time AV troubleshooting. I don't know what I'd do without you. Basically, as you can tell, I have a lot of AV gear, and sometimes they get along. Sometimes they don't get along. So basically, if you didn't know, and if you didn't hear me before, I'm streaming on Twitch, Periscope, Facebook, LinkedIn Live. Of course, love my LinkedIn Live. Leave me a comment if you're watching live. John helped me troubleshoot the AV issues I was having. First off, if you don't know who John Wood is, John and I used to work together at Wintellect, and he produces the best videos on YouTube for learning machine learning, particularly around MLNet. And let me see if I can little segment I like to call High Impact Tuesdays, but holiday week, right? 4-day week here in the US. Here's a couple of interesting things I've highlighted. Kerbal, who runs a Power BI kind of data channel, awesome stuff. She shows you how you can create icons in Power BI using artificial intelligence. It's not built into the product per se, but you can use it just the same. Not sure if this is still going live, but this was a great talk with Neha Manga about Alexa and kind of how that works.
Please unlock your device.
And there she is. She chimes in right at the wrong moment. And here's some interesting things. Kevin Stratvert, who runs a kind of a tips and tricks channel for Microsoft products. He has some really cool, fun solutions there. I was particularly impressed with the built-in transcriber. I didn't know that existed. And we have a really good video from the folks at Channel 9 where they talk about improving data quality coming off your sensors with something called verified telemetry, which is now in preview. Highly recommend it. The good folks over at Eureka do another course here. This one's about testing your databases with Selenium. And the very awesome Chris Sepherlis, former colleague of mine at Microsoft, he put together a really cool video on knowledge mining and demonstrating the JFK demo. If you all are interested, I'm happy to do that another time. But today, in a bit of foreshadowing, I want to talk about context. And what context is, and I'll demonstrate it right here. Context is the idea of carrying a notion or a concept beyond an utterance or two. In other words, let me tell you about this great restaurant I went to. It's located in Rockville, Maryland, and they had the best pizza. That's actually not true. There's not a lot of good pizza places in Rockville. But when I said they had the best pizza, you knew exactly what I was talking about. It's probably this pizza place in Rockville, right? For a machine to do this, this is actually very hard. And this gets to the notion of concept, or context is really what it's called in the Google Dialogflow APIs and in the Lewis Microsoft Azure APIs. This is actually a very difficult concept. And so let me demonstrate, because Google actually has it kind of well. But here's the thing that'll surprise you about Alexa. I'll talk about Alexa in a minute. So, as many of you know, I'm a big fan of a certain group from a little place called Staten Island. Oops, there we go. I'll say I want to know more about them, right? Or I'm new to understanding the group, right? Let me ask Alexa. You can play along at home. Alexa, who's the Wu-Tang Clan?
According to Wikipedia, Wu-Tang Clan is an American hip-hop group formed on Staten Island, New York City in 1992.
So,
its original
if you have a visual one,
Jizza, Old Dirty Bastard,
you'll see
Method Man,
that
Raekwon, Ghostface Killer,
it gives you a little bit of information card on it.
And Master Killer. Close affiliate.
So while she's continuing talking about it, she's basically doing a read because she knew exactly who I was talking about. Now here's where the trick comes in, or the issue comes in. Alexa, what was their first album?
Wu-Tang Clan's first album was Enter the
Oh my God, this literally didn't work 10 minutes ago.
Which was released on November 9th, 1993.
So apparently the best way to have innovation is I stream about it and I talk about it. This literally didn't work. It actually comes up with, the first album, which was I think of Modern Talking or somebody else, not the Wu-Tang Clan. Then I was going to demonstrate how Google actually does it. So, I mean, this is the issue with doing live demos, even though I practiced this like 10 minutes ago to make sure this was still the case. But the point here is that the NLP, or natural language processing, is a fast moving field. I don't know if I don't know when Alexa did that. Certainly 20 minutes ago didn't. What probably happened is maybe I got connected to a different server before. I don't know how that demo gremlins. Well, it's funny, right? It's like, damn it, you weren't supposed to work, but you got it. But if you can try it at home, pick your favorite band. Maybe there's a certain timeout period. I know, for instance, context kind of expires on Google and in Lewis by default 20 minutes. So let me ask Alexa now and see what happens. Alexa, what was their first album?
Here's something I found on the web. According to wikipedia.org, the first edition is the debut studio album by the group The First Edition.
Alexa, stop. All right, so clearly she didn't get the context, which, in Alexa's defense, this is hard for humans. I mean, how many times have you been in a conversation and the topic switch and you're not quite sure? They say, "Oh, they said this," or "She said that," or "He said that." Like, who are we talking about again? Like, you swapping that out. So that placeholder reminds me very much of cache memory at kind of the assembly level, right? You can only rely on it, but for so long. And demo gremlins. You weren't supposed to work, but you got smarter, like literally in the same morning or same afternoon. Isn't that crazy? So, such is the wondrous world of innovation that we live in. But that is a hard thing to do. Speaking of Alexa, I think you should all be aware of this. In case you're not already aware of this, apparently Amazon Net is going to be, and there's a really good video here. Satonic does a really Satonic has a really good series on YouTube where he talks about some of the things that are going on in the AI or infosec space. A rather horrible one around U.S. nuclear security, which you'll get a kick out of where they actually fell down on that. But if you go in, and of course now my site's acting slow. There we go. Make sure you do a look into your settings on your Alexa app to make sure that you are disabling Amazon Sidewalk. And what this is just the idea. Comcast did a similar thing not that long ago, where they would share out your Wi-Fi to just, I don't know about anyone, but other devices. So the idea is that to kind of make a low-key kind of telco or cell phone coverage like thing where every Ring doorbell, every Alexa becomes like this mini hotspot that certain services and apps can use. A lot of people have very good privacy concerns about this, myself included. But it turns out if you don't opt out by June 8th, you will be opted in automatically, which I think is a little aggressive, but it is what it is. But you can turn it off at any time. So be sure to do that. It's in settings. Go to your Alexa app and then go to settings. You should be able to turn that off. And not sure where that would be on the Ring app. I was actually this close to buying a Ring doorbell, and I'm like, I don't know. Some of these privacy concerns concern me. So I don't know where I was going with that. I clearly need to get more coffee before my next live stream, which I'll be doing a discussion on. Well, there goes my fancy demo, right? Like, at least I did it on my own private feed rather than the Electrify one. I'm gonna have to dive into this because she literally didn't work. Let's see what Siri does. I know it works on Google Assistant. Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of these security cameras too, and what I really need to do is get some kind of packet analyzer or traffic logger, because, well, there's plenty of them, and two, you can just kind of see what's going on. What I really think, maybe I'll do that this weekend if the weather's horrible, is go and set up a separate Wi-Fi network for the IoT devices, these types of things. Let's see. Hey Siri, who is the Wu-Tang Clan?
Here's some information.
What was their first album?
Sorry, I can only take that request while you're listening to music or a podcast.
So that's interesting. True to Apple's form, their UI, their user experience or UX around that is kind of like, well, I can't help you, not because this is a hard problem, but because you're not listening to music right now. That's a pretty good thing. Yeah, I do wonder about the security camera situation. I am totally freaked out that they fixed that, or at least it appears that they fixed that this morning. Alexa, who's Aerosmith?
According According to Wikipedia, Aerosmith is an American rock band formed in Boston in
So I'm going to wait for her to
1970.
finish.
The group consists of Steven Tyler, Joe Perry, Tom Hamilton,
I got to start
Billy
picking
Kramer,
artists
and Brad
or
Whitford.
groups with
Their
fewer
style,
members.
which is rooted in blues-based hard rock, has also incorporated elements of pop rock, heavy metal, glam metal, and rhythm and blues, and has inspired many subsequent rock artists.
Okay, I'm going to wait for it to clear the screen. Maybe it does work. Maybe it always has worked, but the context window is really short. All right, so I'm going to go. See, it's still showing up. Alexa, what was their first album?
According to Wikipedia, the first album is the debut
There you go.
studio album by German duo Modern Talking.
All right, so
It was released on April
I did
1st,
clear the screen.
1985 by Hansa Records. The album peaked at number 1 in
Alexa,
Germany
stop.
on May 20th.
That's interesting. So clearly I have to do more experimenting with this. But it is an interesting thought experiment. There was a video a couple of years ago released by the Microsoft team. I think the folks behind Cortana, and I can say Cortana because they killed my little wireless Cortana speaker. That's a sad song for another day. Where they were demonstrating kind of like the interaction, and it was fascinating. They count kind of the interactions and questions and back and forth as turns, as they called them. And it was interesting to see how in the course of a normal conversation, you and I, if we were talking, would be able to kind of follow what she's saying. But when you realize, wow, getting an AI to do that, not trivial. And I think they went 21 levels or 21 turns deep. And they had this diagram kind of showing what that would look like. I mean, so there are a lot of smart people working on the problem, that's for sure. But I think NLP is one of those fascinating micro niches inside of or subfields inside of artificial intelligence. And I think it's incredible. But I am totally freaked out that worked. Let's see. Alexa, who's Bruno Mars?
According to Wikipedia, Peter Gene Hernandez, known professionally as Bruno Mars, is an American singer, songwriter, record producer, musician, and dancer. He is known for his stage performances, retro showmanship, and for performing in a wide range
I have
of
seen him
musical
live.
styles,
He is impressive.
including pop, R&B, funk, soul, reggae, hip-hop, and rock.
All right, so now his picture's still on the Echo Show. And I say, Alexa, what was his first album?
Here's something I found on the web. According to tasteofcountry.com, on January 23, 1990, his debut album, Killin' Time, was certified platinum for selling 1 million copies, less than a year after it was released.
Wait a minute. Bruno Mars first. Okay, so that clearly wasn't it, because it was saying that according to tasteofcountry.com, his debut album came out on January 23rd, 1990, which I don't think he was even born. Interesting. So that came out in 2010. So clearly she's completely off in terms of what she said. So that's interesting. Alexa, what was his first album?
Here's something I found on the web. According to tasteofcountry.com, on January
They noticed that the
23rd,
different
1990,
answer
his
comes from a
debut
different
album,
question, which was, I said, what was their first
certified
album?
platinum for
So you'll see
selling
right
1
there,
million copies, less than a year
and I
after
have
it
John
was
as my
released.
witness, right? It worked the first time, and it didn't work the second time. So maybe there's some servers that they're kind of beta testing or A/B testing that have that context ability, because adding context is, you're basically adding a huge feature to a huge experimental feature to your APIs. So I bet that there's some kind of rotating thing where it does that. And now if I said, Alexa, what was their first album? Alexa, what was their first album? I'll probably get Modern Talking again.
Here's something I found on the web. According to wikipedia.org,
this is a completely different
the
thing.
debut studio album by the group The First Edition.
Yes, I got the updated model in the first question. Maybe Jeff Bezos is sitting there like, damn it, it's that Frank guy again. But that's interesting how that intermittently works. My guess is that they're probably different servers with different capabilities that they're doing A/B testing on. Fascinating. And you were here. You shared that fascinating little moment with me. So with that, I'm going to end this stream. Pretty sure I got a meeting coming up in a few minutes, and you have a fantastic day, and I'm going to roll the fancy outro graphics. But thank you, John, for watching live. Thank you, John, for commenting. Thank you above all, help me troubleshoot the audio issue. That's interesting. So if you tell you what, if you're watching this now or you're watching this kind of later, it would be, let me know, give it a shot on your home devices and post it in the comments wherever you're watching this. Like, you know, did Siri do it right? Did Alexa do it right? Google does it the way I expect it to. And I'll have to find a place to test Cortana out because it has worked. It has worked on the speaker, but I'm not sure if that service is still online. It's they're changing product focus direction. And I can say this now because somebody else pays my mortgage. Whenever they say they're changing product directions, that's usually not a good sign for the longevity of the product. Just saying. Tablet PC, Silverlight. I know things of which I speak, but it is what it is. This is, you know, just because Cortana is kind of going the way of the dodo doesn't mean that the NLP models, there are some very smart people, some of the smartest people in the industry working on this at Microsoft. It was a privilege and honor to go to MLabs where there was, I was like, with that, I will say thank you. Thank you, John, for watching live. Thanks for helping me do that. And I'm going to roll some cool outro graphics. You have a great day.